Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us here at Earth and Sky. And those of you joining us online, we always really appreciate each of you commenting and hitting the like or the subscribe button if you like what we're talking about. Today, I think you will like what we're talking about because we're talking about spring. Spring has come. It is just around the corner. You can see we have turned our wheel of the year here to spring, welcoming in the abundance of new growth. All things becoming fresh. The spring equinox is the time where we start coming into an equal amount of light and dark. A little bit different from my favorite, which is Yule, as we're going into the darkness and we have more of the cold. But most people prefer coming out into the light. I had one of my friends texting me this morning, letting me know that finally the light has come. We can celebrate enjoying the return of the sun. And so I hope all of you are starting to think about that and enjoying how you can bring that light into your own life. Thinking about how we can bring not just the physical light, but the metaphysical light. How we can bring the joy back into our lives. How we can bring the awakenings into our lives. This is a time that you can approach in a couple of different ways. You can think about the balance that comes with the equinox and thinking about where do you have balance in your life and where you may be needing to have a little bit of balance in your life? Where are you extending yourself too much and where are you maybe not pushing yourself as much as you need to really maximize what you can do in life? It's about balance. Time to rest, time to work, time to play, time to focus. But the other thing that is a wonderful aspect of spring is the aspect of rebirth, renewal, regeneration, figuring out where in your life have you maybe gone a little stagnant, where in your life do you feel like things have maybe just plateaued a little bit and finding that boredom is setting in or feeling like maybe you're in a little bit of a rut. That can oftentimes happen. And so if you're starting to feel any of those, this is the time to tap into these tremendous energies of rebirth and renewal that the spring brings with it. When we go into the winter, we've talked a lot about how that's your time for planning, thinking things through, figuring out what you're going to do. That's the time when the plants have all gone dormant under the soil and they're doing all of the things that they need to be able to sustain life and come up as beautiful, radiant flowers in the spring. So I hope you've done a bit of planning this winter. And if you haven't, maybe now's the time to do a little bit of quick planning because this is the time to plant your seeds. This is the time to think about how you're going to renew yourself. We're 3 months into the year already. We're a quarter of the way into 2022. Time can certainly fly, it feels like at times. But this is the time to think about what are you planting? What are you creating in your life? And how do you want to create rebirth and renewal? So digging a little bit deeper than just planting those seeds, we all have the opportunity to reinvent ourselves whenever we want to reinvent ourselves, to come up with who we want to be, not only for in the future, but for each day, thinking about who you are, what do you want to be, what do you want to create in your life, what do you want this day to look like next year. This day will look differently if you're doing things differently, if you're building towards it, if you're creating things towards it, thinking about not only what you want next year, but just for this moment, just for this day, because the only thing that we truly can control in our lives is what we're doing in the present moment. What we are doing in this very single present moment is what will very soon become the past. It will become the memories that we reflect back on, either with joy, thinking about the good things and how well it seemed like it worked out, or the other thing to know is that what you're creating now in this present moment are the building blocks for the future. The seeds that you plant now in the spring become the flowers that grow up in the summer, it turns into the crops that you can harvest in the fall. But you have to be willing to do the introspection, to do the planning, and then to do the planting those seeds. But sometimes when we feel like we're in a rut, or when we feel like things have stagnated a bit, we might need to shake it up a little bit to clear out the past. If you feel like you have a lot of stress that's been clinging on to you, or you have a lot of burdens and you're just not sure how to shake it, or maybe you feel like you've gotten into a bit of a depression or a bit of a rut, whether in emotional senses or in any sense of life, if you feel like you've gotten into that kind of a rut or a plateau, or you just can't quite dig yourself out, it might be time to rebirth yourself, just like the planet does every spring. When things go dormant, they do that so that they can come back, rebirthing themselves. And you can do that on your own too. There are many ways that you can do that, whether it's simply through actions that you're taking or through meditations that you're doing, but sometimes it helps to bring in a little bit of ritual and ceremony to honor and mark the times that you are willing to go within and to think about who you want to be and to create that as you birth that new life, that new project, that new aspect of who you are. As we've been through this great long pause of COVID that for quite a while caused us to be in our homes, to do a lot of introspection, a lot of soul searching. Maybe you changed a lot of things in your life during the pandemic, or maybe you feel like you had stayed in that bubble of just really feeling like you were going within yourself for an extended period of time. But it might be that now you are at that point of wanting to rebirth yourself, rebrand yourself, renew yourself, revitalize yourself. And so one of the ideas that you can do, sometimes we do different rituals for this. There's a beautiful 13th rite that sometimes I'll talk about with shamanism, where you're in a sense rebirthing yourself and cleansing everything within. A very simple thing that you could do at home is to reflect and to gather a few supplies. So for this, you're going to want to gather a little bit of water, some kind of an offering dish, a candle, and possibly some sage, maybe some rose petals as well. You can get creative with what things you want to use for this, and also a piece of paper and a pen. And so you'll want to first do some reflection. A really good way to do reflection is with candles, because they allow us to see ourselves within the flame. They allow us to bring the light into us in a very physical way, and it allows us to release up in smoke. Candles really are a mirror of so much reflection, release, and rebirth when you think about what a candle is. And so the first thing you'll do is light that candle. Allow yourself to just look at the flame for a while, get a bit of inspiration, allow your head to clear. Never get frustrated with yourself if you're meditating and your thoughts wander. Simply return your awareness to your breath, and when you're using a candle, it makes it a little easier because you can return your attention to the flame of the candle in front of you. And just give yourself a little bit of some time to think of the candle flame. Let your mind clear. Anytime you start to think about something that stresses you, allow yourself to send it to the flame and see it released in the smoke. And you might even decide to write down on a piece of paper what it is that you want to release. As we're coming out of this period of dormancy and coming out of this period of reflection, you may have come up with 1, 2, 3, or many things that you feel that you're ready to release. So think about what those are. Perhaps write it on a piece of paper, and then you're going to want to burn that safely with the flame of the candle. Have a fire safe dish there with you, or maybe you want to do it outside with a safe bonfire, and you can just toss the paper right into the bonfire. And as you're lighting the piece of paper on fire and giving it up to the fire, really think within yourself. Envision that you're letting it go. If there's something that has been very stressful, or perhaps it's a bad habit that you have, or whatever that is that you're willing to let go of, think of that as you burn it, and allow yourself to feel it pulled out of your body and into the flame, feeling it pulled out on that cellular level and letting it go out into the universe. The universe has an amazing and remarkable way of being able to take those things that we wish to release and those things that have stressed us and taking it up into the light of the universe where it will be neutralized, cleansed, and healed, and you can feel a great sense of lightness within yourself afterwards. As you see that the paper has burned down, feel a sense of confidence within yourself, knowing that as you took this moment to release it, it is gone from you. It is released from your system. Sometimes things go out in layers, so you might begin to feel like you're a bit lighter afterwards. You might be able to start finding that sense of peace, finding that sense of joy that you were looking for as you feel lighter, acknowledging in a physical, ceremonious way that you are ready to let go of whatever you needed to let go of and that you send it out with the fire. And then after you've done that and after you feel this sense and you've reflected for a bit on how good it feels to have let that go and reflecting on the fact that you're ready to release it, that you don't want to bring this with you into the new spring and all of the growth that's beginning to happen around us. And as you reflect and you feel that sense of letting go, then you're going to turn to that little dish that you have with an offering dish with some water in it. It can be any type of dish or bowl. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, or you might want to use a shell or something natural or a crystal dish. Whatever you have already is perfect for you to use with this. So take that water and just allow yourself to reflect in the water. If you have Reiki within you, then you might send some Reiki into the water and asking the water to help you with bringing all of the good things that you need into your life. Asking the light of spring and the light of the spring equinox to rain down into the water dish that you have in front of you and fill it with blessings. Also see the flame of the candle in front of you and recognize that the light, just as it has released whatever needed to release from you, the light is there to fill you up. The light is endless. The light of the universe, the light of love is endlessly full of incredible blessings, energy, zest, joy, laughter, success, whatever it is you're looking for. So notice that flame and look at the reflection of the water. You might even, if you have the ability to see the reflection of the flame in the water and envision that light flowing into the water, drink some of the water into yourself and feel that renewed energy, that life force energy that's filled with the light flowing into you and flowing through all of your cells, bringing in physical healing, vitality, energy, ideas, inspiration, whatever it is that you're looking for, new opportunities, whatever new growth you want. Feel that as you feel the water going in through your mouth and flowing through your whole body. Feel yourself connecting down to the energies of the waters of the earth beneath you as well. And really take in the fact and the confidence of knowing that that renewal and that new growth is coming into you with the water. If you choose to have any other offerings there with you, rose petals or whatever you feel like, then you might then float those in the remaining water that is in the dish and just give thanks to the light, whatever you call it by, whether you refer to the light as God or goddess or divine energy or whatever it is. Feeling gratitude within yourself and gratitude to the source energy that it is done, that what needed to be released was released, and that you feel the sense of rebirth and renewal in yourself. And take a moment to really reflect on the fact of feeling the joy of renewal. We all know that sensation when something is brand new and there's all that excitement that comes with it being new. Feel that within yourself, within your life, knowing that this is the season for new growth, for new life, that you can create whatever you want within yourself. And then once you've reflected on that and you really feel that joy rising up within you, you feel that sense of success of whatever you're wanting to rebirth and renew within yourself, then you're going to take that offering dish, and if you added rose petals or anything else to it, whatever else is in there, and just go ahead and pour it out at the base of a tree or under a bush or so, whatever you have in your area that can be an offering back to nature, and asking that that energy of that water and the rose petals or whatever you used, that give blessings and life to the tree and to the elements of nature and to the earth that is around you. For whenever we want to receive something, we should give something, because whenever we give selflessly to anyone, whether it's the earth or animals or people. Whenever we give, there's a spark of light that opens up within the universe, and it begins to flow in, and it fills us. So offering that up, feeling that gift of love that you're giving, and knowing that that beautiful portal of creative energy has flowed into you, knowing that you are consciously creating what you want with this beautiful energy of the spring equinox that is here upon us now. I hope that gives you some insight and inspirations for ideas. You can add your own creative, fun things to this as well. I would love to hear any ideas that you all have of what you're planning to do for the spring equinox, and how you like to celebrate it, or how you'll use this ritual and add to it as well. We always love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you next week as well. Happy spring, everyone.